are up. The riders are flying round the tracks again. As supporters, we moan and whine about this sport, about how it's run, the rules and regulations, the BSPA, the refs, the tracks, and most of all, the weather. But let's not forget that this sport gets the adrenaline flowing and is and can be bloody wonderful. Only in Speedway. Good evening, welcome to the Speedway Tavern. How you doing, Webby?
Good, thank you.
I'm talking to you.
Sorry. I can't multitask, I'm a bloke, you know.
Barely. Hello, Matt.
Oh, hang on, I can put his, what's it, hang on. There you go,
yes.
Matt.
Oh, there he is.
There he is, yeah. Oh, Matt.
Yeah, Matt's still poorly and not with us. Get well soon, Matt. Although I actually think it's because he's scared that Wolverhampton's going to lose to Birmingham tomorrow night. Yeah. I think that's what's going on, really. But get better soon, mate. Get better soon. Yeah, we've had some exciting things going on at the Speedway Tavern over the past couple of days that we can't tell anybody about yet, haven't we?
It's so exciting. It's so secretive. Even I don't know.
Well, there you go then. Yeah, but hopefully we'll have some news on that front very soon. Right, so on tonight's show we have got Mr. David Mason talking about tomorrow night's farewell meeting. Very important meeting for Birmingham, I think. Obviously, an important meeting for David. More about that in a moment. We've also got Lee Kilby coming on about 8:15. 8. Your clock's just confused me. You haven't put it forward.
It's still. I'm still in winter time. Right?
Dear me. I can't get the staff. And so obviously there's been a bit of concern and worry over the new track, or half a track. Not quite sure how you would describe that. That's going on at the bend anyway. They've brought the bend in and brought the track down to 330 yards to make way for the new stadium and so on. So we'll chat with Lee about that and all things Swindon, and we might even touch on some Birmingham things as well.
Okay.
So
I'll just have a quick hello to Dennis, Matt, Stephen, Pauline, Dave, and Brian, who are in there at the moment, and I've missed the others. So there you go.
Okay. So I was at the press practice for Birmingham on Wednesday. I was at the Meet the Riders event at the evening. You're in trouble, mate.
I know. You told me.
He wants his T-shirt.
And you know what? I've done it today as well. I've done it. I've caught up. I've done all the T-shirts.
Don't believe it.
I have, honestly. Done them all. Yeah. So I'm on top there, but I've lost Paul Wood's contact address and everything, so if you're on, Paul, please,
or if somebody knows him,
send it me. Yeah.
It just sounds like a poor excuse, if I'm honest, but
no, it's true. It's crossed my heart and hope to die, and Scouts Honour and all that. Dip.
Oh, there's been a few results, so things have started moving. So we starting to get an idea of who might be strong and who might not be. So Leicester 40, Ipswich 50, first leg of the challenge match, obviously into league challenge, so can't read a great deal into that. On the Steel City Championship on Sunday was won by David Balago, with Ryan Douglas coming second and Danny King coming third. That's a good result for Ipswich there.
Excellent.
Thursday, the Interleague Challenge. This is interesting. It's 48-42 to Ipswich. Now, they won again, but by less amount than they did at Leicester.
Right, okay.
So Danny King got 10 points for Ipswich, and Scott Nichols got 15 plus 1 for Leicester. He seems to have started in pretty good form, actually, does Scott Nichols. The Tyne Tees Trophy, Redcar versus Newcastle, first leg.
Trophy, that's not easy to say.
Tyne Tees Trophy. You made me say it again. Redcar 51, Newcastle 39. Charles Wright got 13 plus 1, and Steve Worrell got 12 plus 1 for Newcastle. The Bordenapolis was won by Kevin Doolan. track record holder at Birmingham, of course.
Yeah.
Joint track record holder. Aaron Summers came second. Nikolaj Jakobsen came third. Just going to rush through these. Peter Craven Memorial was won by Jason Doyle, with Kenneth Bier coming second and Max Frick coming third. So Swindon, Bellevue there. Championship Shield, so first sort of proper match. Leicester 57, Redcar 33. I told you I thought Leicester looked good.
You did, yeah.
Richie Worrell got 15 for Leicester and Charles Rod got 13 for Redcar. Tyne Trees Trophy second leg, Newcastle 43.
You struggled there.
I did. Redcar 46 and Redcar.
I'm going to make you say it at least 2 more times.
No, it's not going to happen. Redcar 197.82 on aggregate. Another championship Shield, Sheffield 49, Scunthorpe 41, Drew Kemp 13 plus 1. That's impressive.
Good.
And Jake Allen 13. And yesterday, we had the Premiership Supporters Cup. Have I told you about this?
No.
Now, I would love anybody that was at that meeting to give us a shout and let us know how that went. So, I think we mentioned this last week, in Heat 14, the supporters vote for who they want to have in the heat.
Oh, right, okay.
So I think that was done on Twitter. So I'd love to know how that actually worked in practice, how much time it took and so on. So it was Peterborough 42 and Bellevue 48. That's a good win for Bellevue at Peterborough, I have to say. I quite like the look of Peterborough at the beginning of the season. But of course they've changed. Now this is when you say, what's going on at Peterborough?
What's going on at Peterborough?
Well, that's a good question. So, in the midway through the close season, they'd signed Chris Harris, and then they said, no, he's asking too much money, reading between the lines, so we're going to get rid of him. Before even a wheel had been turned in anger. So that happened, and he ended up at, somebody will tell me, I think it might have been Ipswich. So that happened, and then they just sacked Cookie.
Oh, right.
It was going to be their number one, because something to do with a sponsorship issue. He wanted to have his sponsorship on his arms of his own sponsorships, and they were saying, well, you can do that, but only in black and white. And he was saying, well, they're not black and white, so they don't want black and white. And anyway, they couldn't solve the problem, so he's gone.
Wasn't that more a stipulation from the sponsors themselves? Surely it wouldn't have been the rider who says, I want them on my arms.
Don't know. I can only tell you what the information we've got from Cookie. But that's an interesting one. These guys are. So the comparison's been made between Speedway and football again. Saying, if you was riding, if you was playing for Birmingham City or Aston Villa, they've got their logos, and you have their logos on, and that's it. But footballers aren't self-employed.
No.
They're employed by the club.
Yeah.
The riders are self-employed, and that's a big difference. So they have to carry a lot of that expense. So their sponsors, their personal sponsors, are very important to them.
Yeah.
So.
Tyler's on. He says, ask Lee if we can come out to We Are... You'd love this, wouldn't you? Ask them if we can come out to We Are Birmingham song like we did 5 years ago. I used to love that. I think that's a GA song.
It was. Well, it was actually an AC/DC song.
Yeah,
absolutely
plagiarised to death. Yeah.
If I'm honest, I wouldn't like that, because that, to me, that was being played during the Phillips era, so it's got that connotation and that connection with the Phillips era. So, personally, maybe I'll do another one, but I quite like what they do now anyway. So,
Wendy Jane Barnett says, "I'm here."
Yeah, okay. That's nice to know.
Yeah, she's already.
So since people have started already on the old shout boxes and so on, perhaps it would be a good idea for you to let them know how they can contribute.
Okay, so on Facebook, obviously, on various Facebook groups and pages, and on www.srbradio.com. There's a chat box on there.
Those
so
W's get more and more every week.
Pardon?
Those W's get more and more every week.
Don't they? Yeah. So you can listen to us on there. And there you go.
Yeah, so, we would love to have your questions, particularly when Lee is on, because we will feed your questions to him if they come on the shout box. We won't do that for Mr. Mason, though.
Right, okay.
Purely and simply because it's recorded, so I can't really put the questions to him, okay. Because he had a prior engagement tonight, but he was kind enough to give me 15 minutes in his busy schedule this afternoon, and we had a chat with David, and a nice chat it was too. So,
we're going to get that up later, aren't we, as well?
Yeah.
Okay. And we've also got some videos and stuff. And
yep, so we've got an interview with Ashley Morris, I believe, and possibly Paco Castagna as well, if you can find it. It's in that Twitter feed there somewhere.
Is it? Right,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Further down.
Yeah. No. Oh dear, I'm going to have to talk you through this now. It's really good on radio and really good on our Facebook. So, go down. Right, stop. Can you see the Twitter feed on the right-hand side?
Oh, yeah,
yes.
Sorry, yeah. And it's going to be down
there. We go. There he is.
Okay.
There he is.
Yeah, I can get up there.
Gosh, you can't get the staff, can you?
You let me know when you want to do that. More.
Yeah, we'll do that in about 4 minutes.
Okay.
So, interesting meeting tomorrow, obviously, for Birmingham. And as I said earlier, that was an important meeting. Obviously an important meeting for David Mason because it's his farewell. But I think it's important for Birmingham because it's our first meeting back at this level. It's against our old rivals, Wolverhampton, so you would hope and expect a decent sized crowd. And I think David Mason stated a couple of times that he feels this is a bit of a gamble. I think it would have been a gamble to stay in the National League personally, but because people were getting a bit fed up with that level.
Right, okay.
Really.
Yeah. Surely people want to progress. It's got to be.
Well, that's the whole point of sport, isn't it?
Yeah,
but so anyway, we hope for a big crowd tomorrow. I've got a feeling it will be. I think there'll be a fair few Wolverhampton supporters there because they're going to run their eye over Luke Becker, for instance, which is going to be an interesting one. I think he's going to be a big rider. I'm going to read what it says because there's been a couple of changes. So Professional Speedway roars back into Perrybar tomorrow as Birmingham launch their season against Wolverhampton. It promises to be a special occasion in the second city on a night where club owner David Mason will also officially retire from racing after 22 years in the saddle. He's ridden for 18 different clubs, by the way.
18?
18, yeah. As people know, I actually stopped racing in 2017, but to finally have my farewell meeting granted is a huge honour. This will be a meeting I'll always remember for more reasons than one, and I'll be doing my final laps on a speedway bike during the interval. But it's not all about me because it's a huge night for the club as well, and this is what I was talking about. We took the gamble to step back up into the professional racing over the winter, and now we need the public to come and get behind us. It promises to be a great night of entertainment from start to finish, and the meeting itself should be cracking. The track has had a lot of work done to it in recent weeks, and I think it's going to serve up some excellent racing. Wolverhampton are being tipped as the favourites for the league above us, so we know it's going to be tough. But if our boys can make some good starts and get out in front, then you never know in meetings like this. I don't really see Birmingham beating Wolverhampton, but it'd be nice though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It would be nice.
Yeah.
So the Edwards Plumbing Brummies hand debuts to Tobias Thompson, and I think our season might hang on how well Tobias Thompson does. Paco Castagna, Ulrich Ostergaard, Carl Newman and Zach Vitanek return, and James Shanes as well as the captain, and Steve Worrell has been guested at number one in place of Adam Ellis because he's now unavailable, in place of Ash, of course. So there we go. And I'm just going down. So Wolverhampton have got Scott Nichols, Sam Masters, Carl Howarth, Luke Becker, Nathan Greaves is being called into the reserve, and they're going to operate a rider replacement for Nick Morris. So that's going to be a tough old meeting. But just hope that we see some good racing and have a lot of fun. There is going to be lots of fun. There's going to be wheelie competitions. There's going to be a burnout. There's going to be
fun.
Yeah, I can't remember all the things that's going to happen now, but it's certainly worthwhile coming to, I think. So hopefully going to be a big... So anyway, I think if you...
just before I go to that, Vicky wants to know when are Swindon going to get their new stadium, or will we be talking about
that? We're going to talk about that. You can ask that yourself of Lee Kilby.
I think I might need a...
Yes, you will need a number. Yeah. I thought you haven't got the number. No, I can't give it out alive.
No, you'll have to write it.
I'll sort this out for you. Oh dear.
And Paul Wood's come on. So he wants.
Hello, Paul. Do you want your T-shirt, mate?
The trouble is, but the T-shirt's down at the office, so I'll have to post it to you, Paul. So if you can message either this page or message me personally, I shall get that over to you pronto.
I wouldn't believe me if I was you, to be honest. But anyway, you're going to put that interview on with Ash and possibly the one with Paco as well?
Is that top one, is it?
That's Ash, yeah. That's Ashley Morris.
What? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Let's go to... right. With technology. Right. We should...
this is the first time you've done this, isn't it? So... hopefully this works.
Right then. Can't hear anything. Does he say anything?
Yes, he does.
When does he say something?
Well, now really.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm not saying anything now.
Lovely. I love this technology.
I think we'll forget that then. That ain't going to work.
Okay, are we still on the mic?
Yeah, still on the mic, yeah.
Okay, so well, that was all the best laid plans of mice and men. So I will just talk over while you get in touch with Lee.
I have no idea why you don't. Okay.
And we'll put some. We've got some photos as well that Lee kindly sent to us of the work that's been done on the Swindon track. And there we go. There's been concern about the track in some quarters, although I have to say the Birmingham track was laid in a week, the whole track. From scratch, yeah, it was laid in a week.
Going, eh?
So they don't hang about, do they? So yeah, I mean we've got Lee Kilby coming on, and obviously Lee's got a big connection with Swindon. His dad rode for them as well, and he's now the co-promoter at Swindon. And I do believe he's on his way. Going to give it. Hello, Lee. Are you there?
I am.
Fantastic. That's 4 times on the trot. That's worked now. That's a brand new record. So how you doing?
Very well. Thank you. Yeah, all is good. Busy but good.
Yeah, I bet it is busy. We've just seen some of the photos from the track. How's the work getting on?
Terrific. I was up there today. I spent most of today up there in all weathers we've had today in Swindon, I have to say. But you know what? Where we would like to be at in terms of the work, we're there at the moment. We just to take you back to the beginning of it, really. We had to work in with the time frames we were given by the stadium, because obviously we're doing the work, but it's obviously being called by them as to when and what we can do, and we've got to work around the greyhounds. So a few people obviously came out and made comments about us leaving it quite late, but in truth it's not our call, and we got the call, and there was no part of us that was going to say we won't start this now. We were just, right, this is how long we've got, let's get fully stuck into it. And with Terry Russell driving it like he is, it's on track, it's on target. On track, excuse the pun. it's on target. The guys have done amazing to do the work that they've done in the time we've had. We've had a handful of really good days in terms of the weather. And it sounds a silly thing to say, but I was up there today, and I did a lap of the track. You can see the track. They've done that much work to it. I mean, this time last week, I had to jump down 2 or 3 foot to get from the outside of the new part of the track to the bottom bit. That's how deep they had dug.
Right.
But it's starting to resemble a racetrack, so it's really exciting.
Fantastic. And so how much have you actually taken off the track?
We brought turns 1 and 2 in, so we're going from about 360 to about it'll be about 320 in the end.
Okay.
So it's enough to totally change the racing at Swindon. But in essence, it was, and again, it was not enough for us not to achieve the work. So we've been able to do what we've needed to do. And obviously now and again, today it was amazing because I walked from what would have been the old track, the remaining track, and just seamlessly walked into what will be the new turns 1 and 2. So the guys, the contractors, all the volunteers, everyone that's working on it has done us proud. They really have, because we are all systems go and still driving and set for next Thursday's home match with Bellevue.
Which is obviously the most important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Important thing. So you've been appointed as co-promoter, I think, at Swindon. How did that actually come about? What was the process there? Again, firstly, I'm over the moon to get that. I have to say, I really am. I was never brave enough to race a bike. Skipped my generation, skipped me. So my kids might have what my dad had, but I didn't have it. So to be able to get that position with Swindon means the world to me. And obviously went to Peterborough, and that was the big factor really, because we needed to replace Colin with another promoter. And I think the guys had a meeting, and it was, my name was put in 3 or 4 times, and I was really pleased to get it. It took me about half a second to say yes to Terry. I'd like to do it. I think everybody knows what the club means to me, and to be able to get into that position and work alongside Roscoe, Terry, Steve Parks, the club director there, to do it at this time where we are going through, it's probably the first transitional period we've had. And we're getting this new track, and we were talking about the development of stands today as well. So it's a really exciting time to get it, and I think my energy and enthusiasm and love for the club and the town and everything will just aid that process really. Yeah, and it's nice, isn't it, to be talking about a track being altered and a new stadium being built, rather than, as has been the case recently, tracks closing down and stadiums disappearing.
Yeah, that's right. And again, it always seems to be the negative that gets talked about more than the positive. I mean, I understand where a lot of people have come from, because we've taken a lot of stick as a club, and I'm always going to fight our corner, and I've always kept my glass half full rather than half empty. And I've always been willing for this to happen, and I had the belief in Terry and the council, who've worked really hard with the stadium to get this over the line, because the actual plans have changed 2 or 3 times. Mm-hmm. So the fact that we're getting a new Speedway stadium is fantastic for the sport. Look at the shot in the arm that Bellevue gave to the sport, yes. And we're hoping that the track initially will give us some different racing at Swindon, and then when we get to have the stands and stadium as well, it'll be another brand new purpose-built Speedway stadium. Speedway and Greyhounds, and it's going to be fantastic.
Brilliant. And so we've got a few people come on the chat box actually, and there's a chap that's just asked a question of you. So sorry to bring Birmingham back into it for a second. No, he wants to know, how much involvement are you going to have at Birmingham this year?
At the moment, we're kind of playing it that nothing's changed. I mean, I had such a fantastic time at Birmingham. I loved it. I love the people. I love the management. David and Peter and Lawrence were fantastic to work for. So I'm delighted to be going back there and staying in that commercial role as I am at the minute. I think once the season starts and Swindon kicks in, then I'll get a real understanding of what I can do. But I always said to David, I don't want to leave. But it might be dictated to me that I'm unable to do it. The intention is to travel with Swindon and go to away matches as well. We want to try and make our team, our club, one of the most professional. I think we already are, but to continue that and keep us as one of the most professional, well presented clubs in the country, and having me in that role and doing that will hopefully help in that respect. But there's only so many matches I can go to in a week before I get divorced, so I'll have to just weigh it up and see how it lies. But for the immediate future, I was at press and practice last week. I'll be there tomorrow. I'm looking forward to tomorrow, and then we'll take that classic old saying, we'll take each meeting as it comes, and we'll just see what happens.
Of course, I interviewed David earlier, and one of the questions I asked, which I think I'd like to put to you as well, is that I mean, there was a big difference in the presentation last year at Birmingham. The things that were being offered as far as... What happened there? Wow, I just had you shouting in my ears then, Lee. Sorry about that. Are you still there, mate?
Yeah, I am. Okay. I wondered what was going on.
Yeah. Wow, don't know what that was. That scared me. So I spoke to him about the presentation and the fact that you was able to get 15 heats of Speedway plus a demonstration race before and perhaps demonstration races afterwards or MDL and have an interval with things going on as well, and everything sort of just, apart from on a couple of occasions because of accidents, and we had a fair few of those last year. All really sort of run like clockwork and showed that it can be done. Now, from what you're telling me, it's a similar thing that Swindon work in a similar way. I imagine you've got a big input into that. But sometimes I've been to other tracks and it's like, well, something happen, please.
Yeah.
Did you think that's perhaps as a sport in general, we don't get that right?
Yeah, and that was what was enjoyable. It was totally different last year to working at Swindon as it was to working at Birmingham. Mm-hmm. I think pure and simply because of the level of racing, it was a different product. The development, the National League was, you're at that development level, so the riders are different. You've got younger riders, you've got riders that are just setting out in their career. So you can. I mean, you'd never. I don't think I'd ever get the Swindon team doing a tug of war against the Bellevue team. Never in a million years. But those guys at that level. They're open to those things. They're open to that interaction, and I think the one thing that I noticed at Birmingham that was the same as Swindon is if you can get a group of people that's all pulling in the same direction and want to achieve the same thing, then you get that type of product. And yes, it was nice to go in and be associated with that improvement last year. But the only reason that happened is because you had Peter and David at the top, and then you had Lawrence and Clark, of course, myself. You've had Ryan, Dave Rowe. You've got all these people that are all wanting to achieve a certain product and a certain presentation, and when everybody pulls together, you achieve that and you get that. And it's the same as what we'll do at Swindon this year. And I wish, and I hope one day that I'm in a position to help all clubs, because Speedway's my sport, always will be, and I hate seeing it suffer in any way. I hate any club being put down. I hate any club closing. I mean, I'd do anything to get Reading and Oxford back. It's great that we've got the Reading development team at Swindon this year. That's a real bonus for us. But it would be nice to have this blueprint and find somebody at every track that you could sit around a table and say, right, this is ideally what you'd like to present on a night. And if you can offer the 15 heats of Speedway, then you've got some Midland development or some junior action. Because at the end of the day, we want to see Speedway. That's what we want to see. Yeah. That's what we're going for. So if you can see a junior program as well as your senior program, but you can chuck in an autograph session or something for kids to do. I mean, we did it very well. Glasgow did it very well last year. The Isle of Wight did it very well. And when I say we, I mean Birmingham in that respect, not Swindon so much last year. But it would be great, because I think that's what brings people back. And last year we saw the children returning week after week at Birmingham, even during the week, even during outside of school holidays, which shows that if you run your meeting well and you can get your last heat done by 9 o'clock ish, then parents can get kids home to bed before 10. And then it's a realistic proposition for parents to take the kids. Yeah. But when the meeting's finishing at 9:45, 10 o'clock, and the kids aren't going to bed till 11, then that hour's makes a big difference to parents with kids. Yeah. So yes, I think you're onto something. I think it'd be great if you could deliver that at every track, and everyone had that person like me that's got that enthusiasm to try and do something different and to do something with the presentation of it. But that would be, I think it would be a big improvement, and you'd hopefully see the crowds improve.
Well, I look forward to you getting a bit more involved all up and down the country then, because that sounds like that's something that you would really like to do. I hope people in the know are listening.
Yeah, I'd love to think they are. I'd love to think they are, because that's what you need. Is you just need somebody that's willing to drive it. Yeah. I understand the sport. I know what goes on, what doesn't go on, what needs to go on. So that's the future for the initial thing is looking after Swindon, helping with Birmingham still, and then seeing where it can take me in the future.
So, bringing the subject back to Swindon again, you seem to have quite a competitive team at Swindon this year. I wonder if you could sort of run through the team and what we can expect from each of the individuals.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've got the only Grand Prix rider in the country.
Yes.
In Jason, out and out number one. I think that obviously the debate last year as to whether we should have left and gone to Somerset, whether we should have retained him is in the past. It happened, but to get him back is a huge feather, because it's great to sell a number one, and he will lead the team. If you've got somebody that can jump out in Heat 1 and go and get that win, it just filters down to the rest of the team. We've got some continuity in the team, and I think we've got a strong middle order. I think that's the key. We don't necessarily have a second Heat leader as such at the moment, because we've got Tobias Muslak, who started over in Poland, on fire. He's riding exceptionally well. Troy Batchelor, who did the number one job last year, with massive effort from him last year. He's in that little bracket there as well, as is Adam Ellis. We're really hoping Adam can kick on as a British rider. We want to see Adam doing really well. I think the unknown quantity probably is David Lampart, who we've brought back from Poland. He rode for us in 2012 for a period, but is a different rider now. And when we reached out last year at the end of the season and spoke to a few riders about us signing him, the initial response was, yeah, do it. On his average, he will come in and he could be the real trump card for us. So we're excited to see what he brings to the team. Zach Vitnik and James Shames at reserve. Amazing to see James join Swindon. He was brilliant at Birmingham last year.
Yeah.
I think all the Birmingham public would agree with that. I mean, he's a real showman. You need that showman in your team. You need that person that can get the crowd going. Never say die attitude, which is absolutely what James has got. And it's a big year for Zach. Yeah, it's a big year for Zach. And obviously I've got them at Swindon and Birmingham, which is really nice. So we'll be seeing them at both teams. It's a big year for him. He's got to smash the championship with Birmingham. For me, I think it's a big year for him to score 8, 9, 10 points a meeting.
Yeah. I think you're right there.
I think he'll put that pressure on himself as well. I get on with Zach a lot. We talk all the time. And I've said, look, get everything dialed in that division, get that right. And I just think the championship, the top division with Swindon will follow. I think he'll do exceptionally well. I think the only thing we might not have in our team is that transition from reserve up into the team and down, because I just see the top 5 as being so strong that I think James and Zach will have to ride out of their skins to break into that 2 or 4 position. But we shall see. But it's exciting. We're really excited about the team.
You don't necessarily need them to break into those positions, though, do you? Because I remember the year that Birmingham, we took everything in front of us with the best team that I've ever seen at Birmingham, with Jack Smith and Jack Parkinson, Blackburn. Stayed at reserve the whole year, and that's probably what won us in the end. Yeah, absolutely. And I think, if they were looking at the other teams, I mean, we saw last night with Bellevue. I know Dan Bewley's coming back from injury, but I think Max and Kenneth scored 29, 30 of their accumulative points. That's a really big top 2. Yes. And so I think the way that we look at it is we've got that rider to score big every week in Jason, but we've then got 4, 5, 6 riders underneath him that can all bring in 8, 9 points. And we should hopefully have some good scoring in that middle order. So it's exciting. It really is an exciting season for us. And on a new circuit, we don't know how that's gonna pan out. So there won't be much home track advantage to start with. I mean, I think there's 2 ways with that, because nobody else is going to have ridden the track before. So your guys will at least have ridden the track before press and practice and so on. I presume you're having a press and practice. Will you have time?
Well, we were talking about that today. We'll just see. I mean, the key is to get the track raceable for Bellevue next Thursday. And if you've got to do a photo shoot at 4:00 leading up to the evening, then so be it. Yeah. But we'll just need to play it by ear. Hopefully, we can have a full day on Thursday and a full day on Sunday on the track. The rest of the time, we're working after the Greyhounds has finished, so from about 2:00 through till 7 or 8. But yeah, the aim is to get the track ready for Bellevue, and if we can get anything in before then so be it. But we'll obviously keep anyone that's interested up to speed with what's happening with that.
Fantastic. But so any of those people that have been sort of on the forums worrying about the track, everything's where it should be, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah. I've not so much been worried about the worriers, it's the moaners that have been driving me crackers. And again, I get it, I understand it, because it's been so long in coming. And for a lot of people, their outward moaning comes from a passion for the club. So I understand where it's coming from. But sadly, these things on social media can snowball into a whinging fest and a moaning fest. And we've had people calling us shambolic and embarrassing for Speedway, and it's just so far from the truth. It's untrue. But as of this moment, I walked away from that track this afternoon with Terry Russell about 6:30, and we were delighted at where we were at. And there was absolutely no part of us that wasn't thinking we would be on track for next week, which is great.
Okay, well, I have to finish talking about Birmingham because it's my show and I can.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you'll be able to answer this one. Actually, Wendy Jane Barnett said, "Who is doing Birmingham's club shop this season?" Because I think that's changed, hasn't it?
So it will continue like it did last year. So we had Bev at JB Designs for under Tony and Graham and Denise when they were there. David and Peter decided they wanted to bring it in-house, which is what they did last year. So we ran it ourselves last year, and we'll continue to do that this year. But we work alongside Bev from JB Design. So she sends us a lot of the stuff that we use. So it'll grow as the season goes on. So there will be a shop offer in there tomorrow. And then as the season progresses, we will grow the shop. But we've got a couple of nice things coming in this year. We've got replica jerseys that we want to get into production and sell for adults and kids, because we haven't had them there for a few years, and we've got them at Swindon as well. But we're going to do them at Birmingham. But it's all got to be. I mean, we have to wait and see how the season goes, because in terms of the money side of it, we've got to make sure that the important stuff is that the club is running and the club is stable before we go out and spend £1,000, £1,500, £2,000 on clothing and the like. So we're just being a little bit careful and a little bit cautious with it. But to answer the question, it will continue like it did last year, and we'll have it run in-house. Okay,
we have a question from Mark Robinson about Swindon. Are you having new lighting outside of No Man's Land? I presume you understand that.
I take it he's talking about turns 1 and 2. That's what I think we're talking about. So there's new lighting going in around turns 1 and 2, because at the moment they haven't brought the dog track in. The dog track is staying where it is for the moment, and they're going to change that when they get a gap in their calendar later in the year. So new lighting will go up tomorrow and Thursday morning, and will be in place again, ready for the weekend. So there'll be new lighting on that first and second bend, ready for that first meeting.
Oh, this is a big one. Good luck. I'm going to throw it to you. Good luck. If you don't want to answer,
is this when my phone goes dead?
So Eric Parsons wants your views on the future of Speedway in the UK. I think you sort of half answered that, actually, haven't you? Yeah. Well,
people say rose tinted glasses. You get everybody talking about what it was like in the past, and I've been sat with, that's my dad. I wish he was here now to carry on telling me about it, but he would always go on about what it used to be like, and how the crowds used to be, and all the rest of it. But the world's a totally different place. You can't even compare the two. It's not that the sport has just changed; it's the fact that the whole world has changed. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you show somebody a race reel from Peterborough and Bellevue last year. Some of the racing was unbelievable.
Yes,
and I will happily fight that corner and say, I can show you some races from the 70s, 60s, 70s and 80s where there was no passing. Mm-hmm. So the product on track when it's good is as good as it has ever been. And I would argue that, and there's races to prove that. Mm-hmm. I think what we've got to do is we've got to get back to engaging with the public. We've got to get back to engaging with our supporters. We've got to ask them what they want to see, what they want to experience on a race night, because a lot of people are saying to me, it's 15 heats of Speedway and that's all you get. And my reply is, well, that's all you get if that's the attitude that you turn up with, yes. Because at Birmingham and at Swindon, you can get in at 6:30, you can get down and look in the pits, and you can have that experience of looking at the riders and getting an autograph, and then we do chuck something into the interval, and there's so much that goes on around those 15 heats that it isn't just 15 heats. But it's important that the clubs are engaging with people to make things happen, and make sure that there is some entertainment going on, and you can interact with the riders, which is key and so crucial. Because you can't do that in many sports.
Well, I mean, I've got a little story about that actually, which happened at the Birmingham Meet the Riders last week. Now, so Ulrich Ostergaard obviously has been re-signed by Birmingham, and I don't know how many years it's been since he last rode for us. 7 years, something like that. I'm not entirely sure. But as he came along when he was introduced, he looked up and he saw me and just came over to me and put his thumbs up and asked me how my kids were. Now, I haven't seen him for 7 years.
Yeah.
And it's that interaction that I've always said, that interaction that you can have with the riders is what makes us better than football.
Yeah, so, I'd agree. And if you remove that, you remove a lot of what Speedway is about. And it's obviously got to be controlled. There's got to be times when it happens and when it doesn't, and people have to. People do. I think the majority of people do understand that. But if you can build up those relationships with riders, it makes you go back, and that's why at Swindon. And I have to say, not so much because of the change in circumstance, but Birmingham, we wanted to keep James from last year. As a minimum, ideally, I think we would have liked to have had a couple more riders returning, from the team last year. But that continuity,
obviously, Tom Bacon was probably the big one, but we understand, the situation that he was in.
I think the jumping of divisions meant that we lost a couple straight away in terms of Leon because he went up to Berwick and the fact that we had to get a couple of rider assets, etc. So that was slightly different. But at Swindon, the fans are delighted because we've got, apart from James, every rider's ridden for the club before, and Adam, Toby, and Zach have been there for a couple of few years now. Jason's returning, so there's content. So the fans are keen to see these riders again, and they get to know them a little bit, and that's what keeps you coming back. Yeah. So it's a huge question in where I see the future of British Speedway, but I just think we've got to have a few people at the top driving that interaction, going out and telling people that it's still there, encouraging people to come. And again, I don't think it's rocket science, but we've just got to work a lot harder than what they would have had to have done years ago, because there's so much for people and kids, etc., to do nowadays.
Well, I think that's a good note to leave it on. Thank you. I think I've been a long old interview. Actually, didn't mean to keep you on the phone for quite as long as that, but thank you very much, Lee.
Yeah, not a problem. My pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Yeah, see you tomorrow, mate. You take care.
Absolutely. All the best. Thanks a lot, guys.
Bye bye.
See you, Michael. Thanks, mate.
Well, I didn't mean to keep him on that long, but he was just saying some interesting things and sensible things about promoting the sport. So yeah, we've just about got time, I think, to actually get David Mason's interview. Okay, yeah.
Sorry about the noise halfway through. It's because I couldn't comment. I couldn't see any of the comments. You see.
Oh, okay.
Without going on to the page, and of course the speaker was.
So what you're telling us is it was your fault?
Yeah, basically, yeah. So okay, so if you can just set that up for me, I'll go back onto the comments.
Okay.
And then I'll plug it back in.
This lovely modern technology that we're using today.
Yeah. Cool phones and that like. But no, that was a good interview. It was, yeah. He's
great bloke. So, nice to start doing something about. I mean, I love my Birmingham, but it's nice to do something about other clubs as well, and because we're all one. It's the Speedway family, as has been said before, and I think we all need to look after ourselves. Yes, sure. Let's have some rivals. Yes, I hate Cradley, but by the same token, I wouldn't want anything to happen to them as a club, anything untoward. Much.
Right, okay.
So hopefully we'll be able to hear this.
Last year, they've been saying it even on press day. Do you miss it? And I think I made up my mind when I had that crash. It kind of stemmed really in 2017 when I was at Lakeside, and I got the shove, got the sack, and then moved on to Birmingham. Graham kept twisting my arm until it was almost broken. To kind of turn up and have a go. So, and as I had a couple of crashes with Lakeside, and then literally had that last crash at Birmingham, and I hit my head, and I thought to myself, I don't need this anymore. Yeah. I really don't need it anymore. And I sat. I got up, and the ambulance people were there, and they just said, "You're right." I said, "Yeah, I'm all right. I've had better days, haven't I?" Like I always do. And then I sat on the dog track, and Liam Carr came over and he said, "Oh, can I borrow your bike? Can I borrow your bike?" I just said, "Yeah, go for it, mate, whatever." And he went out on my bike, but I sat there just for that 10 minutes and thought, "I'm done now." Right. I've had enough, and I didn't know when that time was. I really didn't. And it just, as it does, it hits you, and that's it. I was finished. So, but it was just strange how it kind of come about. And I always thought over the years, I wonder when that time will be. I wonder when it will be. Because people do say, when it is, and I didn't know when it was, and obviously, and I didn't want to finish on an injury. That was the last thing I wanted to do, because so many riders, through their careers have finished with an injury, and it was something that I didn't want to do. So I'm glad I've got out, escaped, as they say, injury free. So I'm pleased that on that sense that it has. And yeah, it's a big meeting on Wednesday, and I'm really pleased that they've granted it. I mean, I had a nightmare over the years trying to get a testimonial. To be fair, and and every time I kind of, I asked for one, or Len Silver asked for one, it was not granted, because there was either, obviously bigger names out there that were obviously, up the line more than I was. So, in the end, I think both me and Len just went, forget it. Right. Let's just leave it now, because every time we put one in every year, it was like, no. So, but anyway, it's here, and quite lucky that I suppose being involved with Birmingham, that it's worked out that way, really. So yeah, happy.
So, and did it? That's an interesting thing there, because so when you actually made that decision on the dog track that night, had the decision already been made about you taking over Birmingham, or had that happened yet at all in any way?
No, it didn't. No, that Birmingham, takeover came very quickly. To be fair, and I can't remember what night it was. It was a strange night. I think I'd done fairly well. I got 8 or 9 points or whatever it was, a couple of wins, and to be fair, it was two supporters that, sponsors actually, turned around and said to me that, you done really well. I was like, yeah, no, thanks. Oh, it's a shame you can't take over Birmingham. And I was like, really? What? What is it for sale? I didn't know that. No, everyone kept that as sort of a secret. And that's kind of, it was really strange, really. But, Tony contacted Dad, and then that was it. So, yeah, we're here now, and yeah. So it's just funny how things work out, really.
Yeah, because I suppose both ends of your career really have been a bit like that, because as I understand it, when you first started Speedway, it was basically through your dad mothering you when you was trying to pick up some vegetables at Eastbourne, and then this happened at Birmingham. It's a similar sort of story, really.
Yeah, very well. Yeah, very similar, really. I mean, it was at Eastbourne, when the market, they used to have like a little market on. I mean, bearing in mind, you're going back a lot of years. We're talking '86, where shops on a weekend weren't open. So your supermarkets weren't about. You didn't have your big name supermarkets. So really, come sort of Saturday, Sunday, as some people would know, you try to find something that was open. It was pretty much, it was dead everywhere. So going to a market to pick up fruit and veg wasn't unusual, really. So yeah, we did, and he kept everywhere. Well, we had to walk past it to get to the market, and and I kind of stopped I must have stopped for a couple of minutes, but I was more into football than Speedway, and see the bikes going round. At the time there was a board there. I remember this board saying, you can hire the bike, or whatever. And Dad was like, do you want to have a go? And I was like, no. He was like, go on, have a go. I was like, no, I'm all right, thanks. So we walked around the market, and as you do, and came back, and I must have stopped again because something must have happened or crashed or whatever. And he said, go on, have a go. I was like, no, don't have a go. No. So we got back in the car and went home, funny enough. So I'd never even had a go. And then we got home, and Mum said, I've forgotten some vegetables at the time. And of course, Dad was like, well, we'll quickly pop up there. I mean, we're only 10 minutes away. It's not like it was a half-hour ride. It was only 10 minutes away. So back in the car, and back we go, and we walked past. He said, go on, have a go. I was like, no, don't have a go. Let's get the vegetables. Let's go. Come on. So got the vegetables, and on the way back, he's like, go on, have a go. I was like, oh, God's sake, yeah, go. Let's do it then. And did 40 laps and then get off the bike. So that was it. Very strange how it kind of come about, really.
Yeah.
So, and then it was funny because in '95, Dad was also a promoter at Sittingbourne.
Right. Yes, I remember. Yeah.
Yes, he was a co-promoter there. So how, like you say, I suppose that's where it all kind of started in '95. Being a co-promoter, and then obviously how it kind of, it's come around to this, this side of it now, and I'm at the other end. Strange. But,
yeah. So talking about tomorrow, I was going to ask you what can we expect tomorrow, but I think you said you didn't know.
Right.
Well, let's hope not. I'm actually in Birmingham as we speak, and it's
right
sunny
now,
at the moment. So
yeah. I think rain is forecast, but I think we might miss it. So hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah, of course. It's a Speedway.
It always
never
rains on a
rains.
Wednesday in Birmingham. It always does.
It always does. Yeah, feels like that anyway.
Feels like that, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm looking through your advert for it tomorrow in the Speedway Star, and there's quite a lot of things that seem to be going on. The burnout time, which I've no idea what that means. Hot lap challenge, breakdown battle, stars of tomorrow, a wheelie competition, lots and lots of stuff. So it's sort of carrying on, I think, isn't it? Your sort of way that you've been promoting over the past year, which is trying to get a lot of stuff going, a lot of entertainment going.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's great that we've got a good team around us that, come up with some fantastic ideas, and Lee had some input on this, and, it's good. I mean, we're going to try a couple of things, obviously, tomorrow, and I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine. And, a lot of people like to see different things, and certainly like, wheelie competitions and stuff like that, they're kind of unheard of now. And burnouts, I mean, obviously, that'll be done at the latter part of the, the meeting. Otherwise, we're going to have no tyres left. So, it's going to be good, good for the kids, and hopefully there'll be some entertainment there. And we've got, like I said this year, with the Birmingham Riders, we've got, a bunch of guys there that are going to lay it on the line, and won't be, don't mind putting it in the mix, and throwing the bikes about, and they're proper racers, so it's going to be good. I think it's going to be a good meeting. It's going to be a tough meeting tomorrow for the boys.
Of course.
They've got some. Wolverhampton are going to be, obviously trump cards this year in the Premiership. So, we got the call from Chris Van Stratton. He said, it'd be a great idea, and I thought it was a great idea, and he's been absolutely superb, and I've got to say thanks, to them as well, because I think if it was any other day or anywhere else, I don't think Wolverhampton would be coming to my meeting anyway. So, but it's great to have that connection, and it'd be good to see the likes of Scotty Nichols, Sam Masters there, and of course many others that are also having their debuts as well. So it's going to be a great meeting.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm going to go out and do a little no rain dance in a moment, just to try and help things along. Just talking about this business that you did last year, and I think the Isle of Wight did good stuff as well with promoting and different demonstration races and MDL races and all the rest, and managing to do it in really good time as well. Which I think is probably one of the fans' biggest bugbears sometimes, is how slow things sometimes happen. I was wondering, maybe you want to give an opinion, but we'll give it a go. I don't think that other promoters do enough in this area in a lot of different places. Wondering if you got any thoughts on that.
I think it's really difficult that that I think sometimes that. You've got some promoters that, no disrespect to them because they've been around a long time, and the problem is this day and age, things are moving quicker. You can pick up a phone and phone someone, you can write an email, it goes there instantly, whereas if you send a fax, it used to take about 5-10 minutes at least to get it. So things are moving quicker. So, naturally, people don't want to be sitting around. It's like when you're watching TV at home, you're in this, your mindset watching this drama, and then the adverts come on. Oh, God. You don't want to watch the adverts, even though they're on there. So it's the same thing. 4 races have done, tractor comes out. Oh, God.
And of course, most people don't even watch television with adverts these days because they assume services and so on.
We run past them. We don't want to see them. And it's the same thing as Speedway mean. We see them 4 heats, and the tractor goes around, and no one wants to see the tractor go round, even though the tractor has to go round. So it's just making sure that the meeting flows, and that's what I try and do. I'm literally on the button if there's any delay or anything. We've got to have a smooth running, and it worked last year. And we were getting through, and obviously during the interval we had the kids on the centre green, whether it be the teams doing a tug of war or a bit of a kickabout, with the kids, and the riders getting involved, and as well, it's nice to for the public to see a different side of the spear riders instead of watching them go around on a bike and doing 4 laps and winning races or whatever and go back in the pits and not seeing them again. So for us it's something, it's like a different angle. So I mean there is, don't get me wrong, like you just mentioned, there is actually some promoters out there that are going forward thinking, and I think the thing is that some people don't like doing it, maybe because they're either they don't want to do it or whatever. But I think we should all have like a set routine or something, that, because we're trying to sell it, we're all trying to be in it at the end of the day. And the more people go to, say for example, I don't know, Red Car or whatever, or I'm not picking that name out because I'm not saying they don't do anything, but Red Car or whatever, then it's going to help us, in the long run. So if they're getting sort of possibly 2 or 3, 4, 5,000, because they're doing something right, it's hopefully it's a chain reaction. But at the moment, there's not many that are working together as such. So we know that Isle of Wight do a fantastic job down there, and he interacts with kids and. And it's good, it's a family, and it is a family, obviously entertainment in the evening. So, and it's, again, that's what we try and do, and we try and put it across to people that, that's why we're there, and it's not just about coming in for your 15 heats of Speedway and getting cold and, watching the tractor go round when you don't really want to. So, we try our best.
Yeah, well, I think it showed last year, and you managed to get all those races in time. I think it was only once that we didn't get all the MDL races in.
I think it was because there were some accidents, weren't there?
There were some accidents, which everybody understands. It can be done.
Yeah, and we did suffer with injuries last year. Yeah. That was just a never-ending cause. That was. It didn't stop. So that's it. I mean, sometimes there is injuries, and it can't always flow. But we do our utmost to try and move it on and keep the the flow going. Really.
Well, thank you very much anyway, David, for coming on the show. I hope it all goes really well for you tomorrow, and I will do that no rain dance, I promise you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Fingers crossed it will.
Yeah, and you take care. Thanks again.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Well, there we go. I thought that was a nice interview there.
That was a good interview, yeah.
Two good talkers on today. It makes my job so much easier.
So the plan was to go to a new scene.
Which is why I put my I put my little note on.
The scene never happened, and the screen is frozen. So
has it unfrozen now?
We're stuck. Well, no, we're stuck with you. It hasn't frozen, but I can't change the scene. So people have had to stare at your ugly mush all the way through that.
Right. Well, I apologise for that. I probably shouldn't have started rubbing my bottom. Anyway, I don't believe I said that. Okay. Got a couple more things on the chat box. I'll find them. Tom, I wanted to know, are you looking for any help at Birmingham? I didn't mean to put that to Lee. It just, it was great. Just ran out of time, basically. But I do know that the answer to that is actually yes. So, just get in touch with the club if you feel like you would like to help out. I can't answer that question about crowds because I don't know idea.
Okay. I just let you know we'll do another share competition next week. Yep. We'll do the 2 lots this week and last week, and so we've got a few more shares. So, but thanks everybody for sharing, much appreciated. Tell your mum.
Okay, there was a few other comments as well that I just didn't get the chance to.
Oh crikey!
So I apologise for that. Didn't get a chance to answer those. Run out of time now as well. I'm quite pleased because they're quite difficult.
Where's the time gone?
It's just disappeared. I wanted to go over the matches that were coming up next week, but you just have to find out for yourself. Have a great time. Everybody turn up tomorrow and enjoy Speedway wherever you watch it. Take care.
Go.
Speedway Tavern, what's the news today? Have a drink.